We all know how horrible traffic is in Manila, so what if you could bypass it all and take to the skies? I'm here to show you Manila's first helicopter ride-sharing service, and you can decide if it's worth the ride.
It works like any ride-sharing service. Register on the website, book a seat on one of the scheduled flights, and meet at a designated area and time. I choose a common airport transfer at 9 a.m., 11 kilometers from the Peninsula Hotel in the Makati Business District to the Manila International Airport, NAIA. Normally by car during rush hour, the drive can take an hour or more. Ascent says they can get me there in 10 minutes. My fellow chopper poolers are the founders of Singapore-based startup Ascent Flights Global, who launched the ride-sharing service to democratize air taxi travel. CEO Lionel Sinai Sinelnikov, a former helicopter manufacturing executive, and Darren Tang, a serial techpreneur. Our flight is slightly delayed due to our aircraft's late arrival, but once we're airborne, the ride is stunning and fast. The cost? $150. Not outrageous, considering the time I save and the stress I avoid. Plenty of research went into finding the right price point that would appeal to a growing demographic of sophisticated business and leisure travelers.
The objective is make sure that you can save up to 70% of your time by taking the chopper, right? That's where we think that's a really strong value. The people that, some of the viewers that do own their choppers also can now offer this opportunity for their C-suites and other colleagues as well as partners and customers.
Now that Ascent has made it 10 times more cheaper or up to 10 times more cheaper than a charter, using it for a company-wide thing might be an interesting proposition. So anyone that's Director Plus, who is earning a certain salary, that has an opportunity cost of being stuck in traffic, this will become an immediately viable solution. So the guys that are owning choppers, they probably likely have their own corporations or their own organizations and thinking of how they can extend that productivity gain towards the rest of their organization.
We are at the right level to make sure that it enters into their budgets and that with us they really do some cost savings. And the time they save can then be used to generate more value for the company. So it's not a luxury anymore, it's a business as usual.
Players like Uber Air and Gotham Air are working to make aerial taxis a viable option to commuting in the United States. While similar services are available in Mexico, Brazil, and France, for the Ascent team, the Philippines is the ideal launch market as they target travelers in urban centers across Southeast Asia.
On one side you have the demand. On the other side you have a large park of helicopters with low utilization and a large park of helipads with low utilization. So when you bring that together, and thanks to our technology and our model, it comes just natural. It makes the total sense. And last but not least, the regulator, which is the Department of Transport, is advanced, forward-looking, and open-minded to bring such kind of ideas to the Philippines. And the Philippines is the first country in APAC to bring such kind of model.
Yay, end of a ride!
For now, flights are between business districts and airports in Manila and Clark and popular tourist spots.
Our users are really seeing the use case for getaways or any tourism value-based activity, as well as first-time experiences, so celebrating that special occasion or even experiencing the gift of flight on a helicopter for the first time.
They plan to expand the service to Bangkok, Jakarta, and Kuala Lumpur by next year.
This is a startup, and
Yes.
you're starting it in Asia. Very exciting. But the reality is, you're putting a lot of investment into this. When do you expect to be profitable? Too soon, I know it just started, but I guess you have this in mind. You plan ahead. So
We do. So in terms of profitability, I think within the next 2 years or so, that's something that we might be able to see depending on the strategies that we employ to grow the market. One of the issues in the market as well is educating, not just the top 1% about helicopter travel and what that means. It's also about bringing that down to the next 5% or the next 10%, or eventually as we start to democratize air travel to the next 20% or even everyone. So the main aim is to move towards having this as a mass commute alternative. But as of now, with helicopters as the main platform, we feel that we can already move that 1% to the next 10% or the next 20% and make this something that everyone can have access to. Educating the market on that, and that helicopters is not just a luxury travel option, I think that's one of the bigger challenges as well. So how aggressively we want to push on that will obviously affect the bottom line. But it's in our agenda to make sure that helicopter travel is an option that everyone is beginning to be open to.
We are raising funds, so we expect to be raising about $5 million within 2 years.
Okay.
So we welcome investors that have the same vision as us for today's first phase of democratization to the mass phase, the full democratization phase, and people that would play a significant role to accompany us in our journey.
Oh, well, that's good you mentioned that. So then I can ask you this. Investors looking at the Philippines
Yes.
may have some concerns about the Philippine environment, as you know. So how do you ease those concerns and say that it is a good market for investors?
We did invest. It's going well. So please join us.
For one, it's already working, so it's great.
We're here. It works. We have the support of the right stakeholders for our business. So we're confident that it's gonna go forward.
Yeah, the uncertainty of the political climate here, that doesn't affect your particular industry.
We don't see any concern in that, and we are in good relationship with the right stakeholders mentioned before. So we're confident that Ascent will grow well in the Philippines.
The Philippines stands to lose more than $105 million a day from traffic congestion by 2035. A statistic these entrepreneurs hope will propel demand for chopper commuting and see on-demand air travel take off in Asia.